whatever we're working on. And it was just unusual to see that somebody was connected with me and was sending me messages from Kazakhstan. I was like, that's some unusual stuff. And even for me, somebody who spends as much time online as I do and has connections all over the world, to hear from people in Kazakhstan, inventors, people wanting to help the blind, was really out of the blue. So we connected, we exchanged messages, we eventually had a couple of calls on WhatsApp, and we have gotten to become friends, and we're working to help each other with ideas as well as to promote the products that they've already developed.
Okay, what do you know about the product itself? How does it work?
I know that I have videos, and I obviously can't see the videos, and the narration of the videos is in Russian or in Kazakh. What do you call the language of Kazakhstan?
Kazakh.
Okay, so I really can't tell what's going on in the video, but I've heard from friends of mine that the videos of the echolocation device are very impressive. That seeing people kicking a soccer ball and riding a bicycle and interacting with people without the usual standoffishness or awkwardness of a blind person meeting a sighted person. So I've heard good things about the echolocation, and also about the Braille teaching device, which is the one that's already in production. They've already produced, I think, 50 units of it, and there are school kids already using it in Kazakhstan. So I have been told that they plan on getting me my own unit sometime in September or October at the latest, so that I can get some hands-on experience with it and also do a better job of telling other people about it. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one of the Braille teaching devices. The thing that I think is really cool about their teaching device is it uses the Braille plus the audio. Oh, nothing bad happened. I'm plugged in, right? Okay, there you are. You went away for a minute.
Yeah, it just turned off the sound. So okay.
Yeah, just all of a sudden went blank there. But it uses it uses the tactile, but it also has audio feedback. And so one of the things that we figured out is since their Braille teaching device can be set up for multiple languages, somebody who already knows Braille could use it to teach themselves Braille from another language, as well as teaching themselves some of that other language, where they'd be able to speak it as well as being able to write it or read it in Braille. And I think currently they have it available in English, Russian, Spanish, and Portuguese. I think those are the ones they have it available in so far. But it was funny when I started asking them, I'm like, seems to me you could use this thing while people are learning Braille. They could also be learning a different language if they wanted to. And they're like, man, that's an idea. So, and then I'm a singer. I've never learned to play music. I've never learned to read music. There's a whole other Braille alphabet or Braille characters for music. And I asked them if they had considered having the thing be able to teach people how to read Braille music, so that people who want to learn to play musical instruments, want to sing in their church choir, just want to learn songs for their family or their friends, or maybe a YouTube channel, that they could use this device to teach Braille music. And so I introduced them to a couple of people. One of them is a cellist from Australia that's also blind, and Galazin, he has a really good friend, a young lady, I think she's like 14, 15 years old. She plays guitar and sings. And so he's been working with her as well to get, to help, make the thing where it can be used to teach Braille music, where you can read and play music, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome.
So it is awesome. That's the one that they have, they've produced 50 units of it so far, and they're currently seeking additional grants or sponsorships so that they can produce more. I think Nurbeck told me that they have requests for something like 200 or 300 more of those Braille teaching devices in Kazakhstan, Russia, and other parts of Eastern Europe. So they're looking to raise more money and trying to find sponsors, investors, donors. So the more publicity we can get them for their company, BioSonar, Access Tech, and their devices, the better, of course. So that's the one that's already in production. The one that they have prototypes for, but they haven't started producing yet, mainly because it's so much more expensive to produce than the teaching devices are. That's the echolocation.
Right,
tool.
guys already told me about that, so I'm more interested. Have you ever tested something like that?
I have, but nothing
a
as
similar
sophisticated.
Device, right?
No, I've tested other things, but nothing as sophisticated as what they're talking about, because their device actually has a totally different approach from what everybody else is doing. Like for example, the two most common ones are a device called My Eyes by Orcam, and the other one is called Envision, and they use computer processing to identify images or text to help you figure out your surroundings. But this one, the way it works is it uses audio feedback to help you create a three-dimensional image in your mind of your surroundings. And the more you use it, the more acclimated you get to it, the more quickly you can decipher your surroundings using this echolocation device. So it's really, it's taking a whole other approach to trying to help blind people navigate their surroundings, because everybody else is either using scanning software or internet piggybacking off of volunteers or paid sighted people to help. But this thing is really an independent device, and of course I'm speaking off of friends who have watched the videos and conversations I've had with the team. But their approach is totally different than anything else I've ever used. And about 30 years ago, I used a device that was called the Sonic Cane. And it was a cane combined with sensors combined with headphones. And it would give you some feedback, but nothing like what these guys are doing. And one of the real problems that a lot of the early echolocation stuff had was being affected by ambient noise. Certain high-pitched noises that are in your surroundings affecting the echolocation or affecting the sonar reception. But that doesn't seem to happen with what these guys are doing. So, and I'm hopeful that in October or November, or maybe at the latest, the end of December, I'm going to get one of these to experiment with myself, and I'll be able to come back and do a follow-up with you, hopefully, where I can tell you more about my personal experience with it.
Okay.
But as I say, it's a more expensive product than the teaching device, so it's going to take a little while before they can get me one of the prototypes or build a prototype. I guess you'd call it reproduce a prototype. I don't know the technical jargon when it comes to manufacturing something, but like I say, the teaching device is already in production. Echolocation is fixing to be production, but they have several other really cool ideas. They're working on a device to help blind people learn how to write in cursive or print, where they could be able to sign their names. But when they came to me with that idea, I'm like, being able to sign your name is a great idea, but if you have a device that can teach somebody how to produce, good handwriting, they could use it for writing letters. They could use it for sending a message instead of just signing their name on documents or forms. And as an author, I've been self-published 4 times now. I'm often asked to sign my name, and I like to add a little note to the person when I sign it, because they bought my book and all. But I even as much as I practice, my handwriting is not as good as I would like it to be. So something like that would be very helpful. The other two things they're working on, and these are all just in the developmental stages at this point, and I'm going to be working with them to get the ideas fleshed out. But another one is to have a karaoke system that uses Braille along with large type displays, so that people who can't see or have limited vision can sing along and can either record themselves singing music, or, one of the things that aggravated me a lot when I was growing up is a lot of times people would buy me toys and I couldn't play with them because they weren't made for somebody who couldn't see. Well, it's kind of that way with karaoke. I mean, if you're at a party and everybody else is singing karaoke, don't you want to sing karaoke?
Right.
So I think it'll be a cool thing. It'll be something that the sighted and the blind can participate with each other together. I think it'll be a cool icebreaker. Who knows? It may even turn out to a thing. Are you aware of the Dining in the Dark fundraisers? Have you heard about those?
Yes, I've heard.
Okay, so I'm thinking, what's to say that we couldn't have a karaoke night where we make all the sighted people put on blindfolds?
That would be cool.
Yeah, you never can tell where something like that would lead. And then their final thing is, recently I broke my Bluetooth keyboard, and I have rather large fingers, so using a smartphone or a tablet is not so easy for me. And when I didn't have my keyboard, it was like me and the guys couldn't talk. So Gala started working on either a different form of WhatsApp for people who can't see, or an add-on that would make WhatsApp more accessible to people.
Okay,
So
this is very exciting to see you being so engaged in the process of the creative process. And here's the last question, but not least. How do you see yourself in promoting those devices? Obviously, you haven't got it yet, but it seems like you would be willing to help out our guys.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. It's very good that they're including me and other people who actually live with vision loss in the creation process. And I'm one of these people. I connect with people, I get to know them, and then I usually just make a decision. Do I trust the people or not? And if I trust the people or the product or both, then I can promote that story to a certain point. Now, if at some point along the way they fail to live up to what they say they're going to, then that would be it for me. But so far, every time we've talked, they've done what they've said they were going to do. I totally understand their limitations. They understand mine because, everybody's dealing with COVID, and those of us who don't have to travel aren't traveling right now. So it's a good thing. And the really cool thing is that I get to play this role in promoting and spreading the word about their product and their company. And I feel like it's going to help me because I'll explain to you this way. I have a good friend who's an actress from Nigeria. And when I started one of the things I do is I get people exposure. I put people on podcasts. I connect people with journalists so they can be interviewed. And when I first started doing it, my friend Alex said, Max, it's difficult to get clients if you don't have clients. So these guys, they're cool guys. They've got cool tech. They have a really cool story. I'm just really interested. I'm curious. I'm excited. I'm challenged to see how I can actually help them as far as getting the word out to people here in the U.S. and the U.K., to sponsors, to investors, to donors. Even just learning about the product and learning about the people that are using it. For example, I'm really looking forward to sitting down with a young lady from Russia that's the guitarist. She wants to record a duet with me. and I'm really interested to see how that's going to work. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing how when I finally do get to meet these guys in person. I'm looking forward to having them and their current users on my podcast and learning their stories. I mean, think about this. You got Gala, and I'm really big on stories. I'm a storyteller, and I love other people's stories, and I believe that people don't buy you; they buy your story. So here's a guy, for a while, because of not understanding how to take care of himself, he lost his vision. He got it back. He's probably going to keep it the rest of his life, but he doesn't know. He has to live with the possibility that he could go blind at any time. He has an uncle who's 70-something or 80-something that raises cattle for a living, who's down to like 10 or 15% of his of what you would call perfect vision. You know, there's a guy. How's he going to raise cattle? But who knows? Maybe with the echolocation device, he can still raise cattle. You know, some great stories. The young lady that is in the video riding the bicycle, she just had a baby 3 months ago. So here you have a woman who's blind raising a child. And trust me, there are still people who don't think blind people should raise children. Not so much here in the U.S., but I'm sure there are places in Kazakhstan, Russia, China, well, even some parts of the Midwest here in the U.S., where people still wonder about whether or not you should let blind people raise children. So, you know, here's a young woman, has a 3 or 4 month old, and I told him I'm going to be really interested to see how she applies their technology to being a more informed parent and maybe having less fear about being a parent and being blind, knowing that she has access to their tech. You know, so this is why I'm interested, is the stories, you know, some great stories. And I look forward to helping them tell them. And I'm looking forward to connecting them with some journalists here in the U.S., podcasters, TV hosts, and seeing where we take it. So